Dear sisters and brothers, my name is Amy and I am from Durban. I have been a Tzu Chi volunteer for 26 years, having joined Tzu Chi when I was 17. Today, I would like to share with you what I have learned about the 10 precepts and how some of them have helped me in my life. We are all in Tzu Chi because we want to help people and also become better individuals. However, it's not easy to work in a group as everyone comes from different backgrounds, cultures, upbringings, and religions, all of which have shaped the way we see the world and what we believe to be right and wrong. Therefore, it is important to establish some rules before we start traveling together. Before we hit the road, we need to know, where are we going? Why are we in Tzu Chi? Once we know where we are going, we need to find out, how do we get there? Are we walking or are we driving? If we are driving, are we sharing a bus or are we driving our own cars? Once we know how to get there, we need self-control and discipline. It's a very long road, and each day we need to take a few steps in the right direction. Eventually, we will reach our destinations. It's very important that you know you are in control of the steering wheel of your own life. No one else can change your life for you. Only you can. Tzu Chi volunteers are here to support you and travel with you, but we cannot make you follow the rules. Even though we work in the same group, if you decide to go off on your own track, you might get lost and be left behind. If you're lucky, you might get lost and find the right path back. This happened a few years after I joined Tzu Chi. I got very lost, but I was lucky enough through the support of other volunteers to find my way back to Tzu Chi. But if you are not lucky enough, you might get lost completely and never find the right path again. This has actually happened to some of the volunteers we've worked with, which is really a pity. When you are in control of your own steering wheels and you are on the road by yourself, you don't need many rules. You just need to make sure you keep yourself alive, right? But imagine if we all drive our own cars and we all have our own rules. How chaotic that must be. Look at this contrast. At the roundabout, there are no accidents. Everyone knows when to stop and where to go, and the cars flow through the traffic nicely. However, everyone must follow the rules. If one person breaks a rule, an accident could happen. Rules are important for our own use and are even more critical when we work in a group. They help us stay in the right lane and create unity. We learn to respect others and cultivate good manners to create a better society. And before we go through the 10 precepts, it's important to know that we use the precepts to govern ourselves. Rules are not meant for us to call out other people's mistakes and chase them out of the group. We can give them gentle reminders, but it's their decision to follow them. When we follow the rules and enjoy the good life they bring, we become role models in society, and people will want to follow us naturally, so we don't need to force the rules on them. These are the 10 precepts from Tzu Chi. So the first 5 were given by Buddha, and the later 5 were added by Master Cheng Yen, as she saw how they are relevant in today's society. We will unpack each one in the next few slides. The first precept is do not kill. Even though I've been with Tzu Chi for 26 years, I did not stop eating meat until 12 years ago. The taste of meat was just too good, and I couldn't let go of my own desire, which is actually a type of greed. I love the bride, I enjoy KFC, but 12 years ago, I was doing volunteer work at Tzu Chi Hospital in Taiwan. I attended a ceremony when medical students operated on a corpse. When I saw the corpse on the operating table, I suddenly linked to the meat on the butchery table, and I started seeing all living beings the same way. Pigs are no different from humans. They have mothers. If we lose our children, we get sad. And animals have feelings too. They also cry when they know they are about to get killed or when they see their families being killed. Ever since I became a vegetarian, my health has become so much better. When I go for my blood tests, the reports are excellent. Compared to families that are still eating meat, they suffer from high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and high sugar. This precept not only helps the animals, it also helps ourselves to achieve better health. The second precept is do not steal. Taking something without permission is stealing, and stealing is also a form of greed, a desire for things that don't belong to us. When our possessions are stolen, we feel sad. Why would we want to inflict that on others? We have access to many resources donated by others, and it can be tempting to steal them at times, especially when we are in need as well. We need to control our greed by thinking about the people who may need the resources more. Through love, we will be able to control this. And the best way to overcome this type of greed is through giving. When we are no longer attached to material possessions, we are truly freed from greed. Stealing can have a significant impact on society. Just look at the electricity situation in South Africa as an example. Because of corruption and a few greedy individuals, the entire country ran out of electricity. People are losing their jobs because businesses cannot stay open. Big companies are pulling out of South Africa, and investors are withdrawing their investments, which is causing the economy to worsen. During load shedding, sometimes there's no phone signal, no water, and this is a significant problem to start it with a few people stealing. The third precept is do not commit sexual misconduct. Sexual misconduct can lead to numerous issues that negatively affect our lives and hinder us from reaching our desired destination. Having an affair with someone else can lead to conflicts with our partners. Additionally, engaging in sexual misconduct can result in various diseases such as AIDS. And having children without considering whether we are ready to raise them is unfair to the children, and some may even end up being abandoned. In our scholarship program for the youth, we also disqualify students if they become pregnant or make someone else pregnant, because they are the role models to the youngsters, and hence we need to be strict with them. This is also another form of greed, and we need to learn to control it. Following this precept will help us prevent many issues we don't want to deal with in life. When I was volunteering in a community, I came across two families. In both families, the father, who was the breadwinner, became disabled due to a work injury, and they had no source of income. They had no food, and the kids couldn't go to school. So Tzu Chi looked after both families. In one family, the mother took care of the children. All the children ended up graduating from good schools and started earning money. One even became a nurse at the Tzu Chi hospital. The family is doing well now, and the mother even became a Tzu Chi commissioner, now giving back to the community. On the other hand, in the other family, the mother started having an affair with another man. All the kids are in the same kind of trouble, and one of her daughters had a baby when she was very young. She couldn't continue studying because she didn't finish. She couldn't continue studying because she was pregnant, and then she couldn't get a job. Her boyfriend also didn't have a job, and even until today, they are still struggling financially and looking to Tzu Chi for help. So you can see two families with very similar backgrounds, but the decision the mother made create a huge difference in the outcomes of the families. The fourth precept is do not lie. This actually includes spreading rumors that we have heard. Even if we have no intention of hurting that person, rumors can create troubles in people's head and could break down a team. For an example, you might see a volunteer taking a blanket home. Perhaps she is taking it to give to a family in her community. If you don't verify with her and started telling other people that she took a blanket, it could cause everyone to mistrust her. We could lose a very good volunteer. This precept also includes saying things that are not true to hurt people deliberately. This can lead to a lot of fights, as people who have been lied to will get angry. It's difficult for people to trust you if you have been caught lying. It also includes saying things that are not true to please others. For an example, if you see someone who is clearly overweight and you tell them they are thin and they continue to eat unhealthily, it's of no benefit to that person. Additionally, this also includes exaggerating. When people know that you don't always speak the truth, they will no longer trust you. And then the next one is do not smoke or use drugs. Smoking makes you an unpleasant person to be around because you actually stink. It's also bad for you and the people around you. Research shows that secondhand smoke exposure causes multiple diseases in children, including asthma and pneumonia, and results in thousands of avoidable hospitalizations. Secondhand smoke exposure is a major cause of sudden infant death syndrome and may lead to lung cancer and heart attacks with repeated exposure. It's also harmful to the environment. My husband used to smoke. He used to struggle when he was running. He actually stopped smoking 3 years ago and now enjoys being able to breathe better during his runs. Similar to alcohol, drugs have a significant impact on our brains and can cause us to lose control. Addiction could also drive us to do things that are wrong. My friend's daughter was a drug addict. She would steal money or threaten other kids to get money for drugs. This precept helps us to fight ignorance. Most people start smoking and use drugs because they don't know the impacts. The next one is do not gamble or speculate. Gambling is a waste of money. It's ignorance. If the casino can be so successful, where do you think they get the money from? They might let you win once or twice. And once you are addicted, you will start losing. Essentially, you are throwing money away in the bin. Some people will even sit in the casino the whole night without sleeping, hoping to win. That's an addiction. There are so many lottery winners who ended up being broke. Lottery doesn't solve life's problems. Sometimes it can make the situation even worse. For an example, couples that never used to fight after they won the lottery, they started fighting because of money and then eventually got divorced. And then money can also make people greedy and want more. And eventually, the money they won from lottery cannot sustain the lifestyle they had, and they end up being broke. This precept, respect your parents and be moderate in speech and attitude. When I was a teenager, I was not kind to my parents. When my parents spoke to me, I talk back or roll my eyes to show my irritation. I used to envy my friends who had parents who didn't tell them to do chores. I used to wish I had better parents. Only when I joined Tzu Chi and became involved in a community did I realize how much my parents had done for me. I started to show respect to them. And to this day, I've never talked back. Tzu Chi has made me feel more grateful to them. Tzu Chi has saved the relationship between me and my parents. Following the traffic rules is our ninth precept. Car accidents are annually responsible for approximately 1.3 million deaths around the world, which is actually half the people in Lusaka. People could become permanently disabled in an accident and need to use a wheelchair for the rest of their lives. When I was in high school, my best friend's dad hit someone who ran across the highway, and that person died instantly. Even though it was not my best friend's dad's fault, they are still traumatized to this day. Our last precept is do not partake in political activities or demonstrations. Why not taking part in political activities? Because politics divide us. We should all work to make our communities better, regardless of which political parties we belong to. And in terms of the demonstrations, I want to share a story with you. Ma Zedong changed the medical system in Taiwan without going on a demonstrations. More than 40 years ago in Taiwan, when someone went to the hospital, they had to pay a deposit before the hospital would accept them. Ma Zedong wanted to change the system, but she didn't take to street. Instead, she gathered people to build hospitals that didn't require deposits. And very soon, other hospitals followed suit. Taking to the street doesn't always help the situation. Many people in South Africa have protested on the streets against ESCOM, but we are still struggling with load shedding. Precepts help us fight off the 5 poisons in life. They help us to stay on the right track. So we can do the right things, and the right things will actually happen in our lives. And it all starts with ourselves, not the person next to you. It will affect our mind, our family, our organization, eventually the countries we are in, and then eventually the whole world. To create a disaster-free world and a harmonious society, we must first purify our minds. The beauty of a group begins with each one of us. Thank you for allowing me to share with you today. Thank you.